But I just want to share this on email with you guys too. Must have keep this all. Hey Greg, how you doing? Good. Still kicking.
6 o'clock, I call this meeting to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, Lori, do a roll call, please.
Mayor Steve Feldman.
Here.
Rich Scordahl.
Here.
Robert Bauer.
Here.
Joe Wheelbauer.
Here.
Jerry DeBate.
All right, again, we're trying out some new mic systems, so bear with us. I'll have to remember to turn with me as I talk and all that. We're trying to do this, and we're going to be checking into some headsets too, so we're trying to figure out this audio problem that we've had for years here, so bear with us if you can. What I do tonight, I need to a motion to approve tonight's agenda. Do I have that motion?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Bauer makes that motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second that motion.
Mr. Bauer makes that second. Do I have any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you. Okay. Moving on to the consent agenda. Do I have a motion tonight to accept tonight's consent agenda?
I'll make that motion.
Mr. Bauer makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Mr. Bauer makes that second. Any discussion?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, go ahead.
I just want to make aware to the public that in the consent agenda, we are proclaiming that October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. I just wanted to make the public aware of that. Wear purple and show your support on Thursday.
Very good, thank you. Anything else by council? None? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you once again. All right, moving on to meeting open to the public. Roy, you have anybody?
Sarah Fedvig.
They're a big 3709 229th Lane Northwest. I just wanted to thank our police chief and our fire chief. I attended the neighborhood watch meeting, and Todd did an excellent job. It was a small group, but it was good discussion. Learned some new things, and too often we don't thank them, so thank you very much. And I also went to the French Toast Breakfast for a little bit. And again, just a wonderful event. People had so much fun, and I heard so many good things. So I just wanted to make sure to thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Nice to hear something positive for a change. I also went to that French toast, and I liked it too myself. So, all right, moving on. Anybody else done, Roy?
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Then moving on to business tonight. New business. Ordinance 243, second series, approving the sale of city-owned real estate. First reading. Joe, you want to have that?
Honorable Mayor, members of the council, we had a piece of real estate that was a remnant from the Bridge Street project. The county purchased a home to put a road through there, and this piece of land was left over, and they insisted that the city take possession of it. The adjoining property owner subsequently approached the city and inquired about purchasing this particular piece of property. It's an unbuildable piece of land. And I guess if the city is interested in getting rid of it, which Public Works and Community Development have identified no need for it whatsoever, it's just kind of something that we've been stuck with, so to speak. If we want to declare it basically surplus and authorize moving forward with a potential sale through negotiation with that adjoining property owner.
Okay. Anything else? All right, well, I'm going to go a little further with that. This was brought to my attention as I was doing the Walkabouts campaign this year. And I ran into this couple here who, if you look at the road, if you look at page 36 of your packet, it'll show the designated area. It's a thin area. There was three homes in that area. Two were taken down, and her home, this individual resident, was not taken down. They lost the privacy they had before that road came in. I know Rob, you're there because it's in your backyard. What happened was they took the houses next to it, they cut down the trees that were in her yard for the privacy she used to have before this road got in. As I checked out with Joe McPherson and the county, they of course came to us in the JPA, Joint Power Agreement, been turned back over to us. I reached out to Paul Teicher, our Public Works Director, who has no need for it. The county has no need for it in the future, as Paul's told us also. She's basically, it's a narrow piece of land, good to really nobody. If you're willing to buy it at a reasonable price, and at that, what they want to do with it is basically put up a berm with evergreens, so they can get their privacy back from the road, because there's a lot of traffic going down that now with their roundabout there. So they are interested into it. I have told her that we will check it out legally as if this goes through first and second reading of the publication. Will be declared surplus, then we'll be turned over to legal to get a property ID and title. And then from there, we will look at a price. I told her also that because the land wasn't part of the property taken away, we couldn't give it back to them without a price tag to it. So there'll be some reasonable price to it, but because it will add to their property dimension or property lot lines. So it wasn't, again, part of their old property and just taken away and being given back. It's something I'll do. But again, there's a sidewalk there in the road. Again, county and Paul has told me that there's no need for it in the future at either end for the city or county. So good. Again, if you look at it, it's a narrow piece of property. I think you've seen it, probably yourself. It's very narrow, long but narrow. But nothing. You can't build a house on it. You might be able to put a shed on it, maybe. Most likely, the trees and the berms will probably be the best solution for her. So just want to give you a little update on that. I'll open up to any questions you might have. I'll start with Joe.
I don't have any questions. I think it's just a good idea to, one, get it sold if we have no purpose for it, get it on the tax rolls. Sitting there on city property doesn't do us any good.
Thank you, Rob.
I just want to say, I drive by this property every day. They did lose a lot of privacy when that road went through. This property, I want to thank them. I would hope that they would come back out. I'm talking every holiday they had, you name it out there. Valentine's Day to Christmas. They supported every holiday and that house was decorated. Last year, or maybe the year before that, they had some vandalism and they refused to put their things out anymore. And I would hope that our residents would support them in this to kind of give them some privacy again. And I would hope that they would start decorating their home. I do miss it. This was probably one of the better homes that was decorated in our neighborhood. And to see vandalism stop that, it's kind of sad. So I just want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. I drive by that house every day and it saddened me to actually see the vandalism.
All right. Rich, anything to say?
No, I guess I got a couple questions. And I'm trying to orient myself. So what are the two cross streets? So what's the street that's running, I guess, along the long dimension of that lot?
Cary Street.
So that's Cary. And then, so then what's the one that's on the very, that's on the
Cary Street.
far right side? Okay. So this is, so then Temperature Specialties is going to be back off over here in the corner off the page, right?
Left.
Right, closer to the roundabout.
Yep. Okay, all right. Okay. And then if we declare it surplus, then does that allow us the ability, my real question is, we don't have to go out and put this on the market and go try to get the best deal. Okay, so I'm all for letting, if these folks want it, we don't have a use for it, and I'm all for letting this process run its course, see if we come to an agreement, that's fine with me. No other questions?
Okay, thank you very much. Well, in that case, I agree with everything that's been said here. So, and again, if you've seen the property like I know Rob has, it's too narrow and just a long stretch of narrow. It's really good to nobody but them. The fact that they're interested in buying it at a reasonable price from the city, I think is a good thing all the way around. And what Rob said with the contributions to the area and all that they've done, and that would be, she'll probably continue now. She'll go price in that, so it's a good thing. Nice couple too, by the way. Anyways, long-term residents. So, barring any further discussion, do I have a motion to adopt tonight ordinance 243 second series approving the sale of city-owned real estate first reading?
I'll make that motion, Mr. Mayor.
Mr. Bauer makes that motion. Do I have a second?
Mr. Mayor, I would second it. I don't have a microphone, so I get kind of left out back. I'll second it.
Mr. Skorthoff makes a second. This is a roll call. So, first of all, do I, on a roll call, do I have the motion to approve that, or do I have to go ahead? Just go to roll call. Roll call. Lori?
Councilmember Joe Muehlbauer,
Aye.
Mayor Steve Feldman,
Aye.
Robert Bauer,
Aye.
Rich Sordell.
Aye.
Thank you. Moving on to a second segment, meeting open to the public. Tonight we have Cub Scouts here, and it's your time to come up. And we've got a couple questions that were mailed in to us that they're going to ask. Are some of their training in that? Or let's see, young people get involved in government early, so this is a good thing.
Come up, guys. Mr. Mayor, members of the council, thank you for having us. We're with Cub Scout Pack 511, right here locally in St. Francis, and these are our WEGLA 2, so they're fifth grade students. One of their objectives this year is learning about government in action, so they prepared a couple of questions that they'd like to ask you.
Okay. All right. Whoever wants to ask it, go ahead.
What is the process of how laws get decided?
Okay. Joe, you going to start this one?
Sure. So basically, residents such as yourself or your parents, they would bring a concern to city staff, so all these people that you see sitting here at the table, or their representative, the city council and the mayor, and let's say they were concerned about something like parking or park rules and regulations, things you can and can't do in the park, they would bring their concern to us, and the city staff would review what we have in the city code, those are the city laws, and review what the regulations are, and if a change is needed to be made, we would outline a staff report for the city council and present it to them, and the city council would ultimately decide if the law or the city code gets changed, and then that's how it becomes, an issue turns into a law, I suppose.
And just to add to that, we do that, we also do work sessions to discuss it with council, and then as it passes the work session, then it goes into a council meeting, and then through an ordinance if it's necessary, resolution. We do a first reading on an ordinance, and then 2 weeks later we'll do a second reading, and then we do a 30-day publication before it becomes law.
Why did you want to be mayor?
Well, that's a good question.
Joe?
Anybody else want to ask that? Well, I wanted to become mayor. At the time I became mayor, we had a situation with water rates that became very high in the city. So I, amongst other representatives up here, decided to become involved more further beyond just coming to a meeting. So we took it at that point. And that issue, of course, there was more than just that one issue on the table, so there was a lot more to it. But and it says here, and one of your questions is, what did you need to do to become educated? I said, I went to 2 years worth of meetings, sat in the audience for 2 years, at every meeting, twice a month for 2 years, and then I read over 15 years worth of packets to get a feel for how past councils ran. I outlined that, put that in outline form on Excel, so that I could refer to the highlighted points that I found, some of the mistakes that I found. The reason I also did that was to see what kind of mistakes were being made so that we could learn from those mistakes so we don't repeat those mistakes. And then I ran at that time with Mr. Bauer here, Mr. Muehlbauer. So that was our concern about the rates, lowering them, and then looking at government in a different way. So our attitude was to make a change, you have to step up to the plate and make that happen. So you can sit in the background for only so long, you only talk for so long, and then you're going to end up having to get up and do something about it. And that's what we did. So that's why I did it. That answer your question, I hope? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Oh, come on, the rest of you guys gotta have
Yeah, let me ask you, do you have any questions that you might want for council or staff or anybody? Anybody, anything you can think of?
Tell me what Rob's favorite pizza is, or?
Ask anything you want.
Anybody else, guys? Ask Joe Muehlbauer. You guys had any more questions? Go ahead. Ask
No colluding.
All right.
They don't want to.
They're shy.
They're shy.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Once again, it's always nice to see young people get involved. All right, moving on to department reports.
Mayor Council, in your packets, you'll see the police department third quarter report. During the quarter, our call load did go up slightly by just around 100 calls over the second quarter. Types of incidents that we've seen an increase in were assaults, domestic type situations, juvenile activity, which is pretty common during the summer months, as well as DWIs. And while it's a little discouraging that DWIs numbers continue to be high, officers are doing a great job of removing these drivers from the road. They were also busy over the summer working several TZD initiatives or towards zero death initiatives in areas of seatbelt and speed enforcement. And there were pretty good citation numbers in those areas as well. So they're doing a great job and getting these drivers off the road they should be on, as well as enforcing the seatbelt speed laws here in the city. So also in the third quarter, officers did attend and complete many mandatory trainings in areas such as EVOC, or emergency vehicle operators course, CPR first aid, department shoots, and several online courses that they participated in. Officers have also begun to complete the newly mandated training in areas of conflict management, cultural diversity, and crisis intervention and mental illness. And this is new, effective this year. Minnesota police officers, peace officers have to complete 16 hours of continuing education in these categories in order to renew their license every 3 years. So, officers have also been continuing to participate in community outreach efforts. Obviously in August we had National Night Out, which was a huge success. This fall we have several more events that we're going to be participating in. One taking place next month, we're having a senior fraud seminar, which looks like it's going to be a great turnout for that. Also an anti-bullying pizza party that we have annually for area school kids. We'll be having that also here in October. Hopefully we'll be having another Winning with Cops event here before the year's up. We just had one last week, which was another good turnout. Eddie Eagle and Santa Fe are things yet to come here this fall, so it'll be a busy fall for the continued community outreach effort. Finally, our police department, the application deadline closed today for our police officer opening. We did receive a fair amount of applicants, which was pretty nice to see. So we'll continue that process and hope to have an officer at least in the field training stage here by right around the first of the year.
Excellent.
If everything goes well. But we'll see how that goes, and if you have any questions, I can sure try.
How many applicants did you get?
As of today, for this day and age, it's actually pretty decent. We actually had right around 30. So
I was hoping for that. That's
5
great.
years ago, that would have been a terrible number, but the way the direction we're going here, that's what we had hoped for. So
Good.
we'll do the best we can with that.
Let me ask you, because I'm very interested in this anti-bullying event, because in my day and age, bullies were up front, personal, close to you. You could see them. Now today it's on the internet. So how do you go about, what kind of event can you do with that? How do you train them or teach them?
Well, typically there's a whole week of anti-bullying week in the school. There's all different classes, and they talk to kids about different things. This event is really just to recognize that it's still a problem. It used to be a contest in the schools. Now it's no longer a contest. They just pick random winners. They get to come to the police department, have a pizza party with the officers, and we get to bring them to the police department, and they're picked up from there. So it's just basically a recognition event, talking about it, acknowledging it's still a problem. And like I said, it's basically a week-long thing though in the schools that they talk about.
Well, let me ask you this: when a child's being bullied online, which I'm not facing today at my age, but when a child is being bullied online, what should they do?
They do typically what they do now. They go to either talk to somebody at school, or talk to a parent who tells somebody at school. If law enforcement, if they feel the need for law enforcement to get involved at that point, we will. But the first thing is just telling somebody, letting somebody know what's going on. Don't consider it normal. Don't consider it part of growing up. If you truly think you're being bullied, let somebody know, and we'll try to at least mediate the problem and try to find a solution.
Can it be reverse tracked down? Can you find this bully on the internet? Is it possible?
Typically, there's usually a way we can figure it out where it's coming from. Kids don't. There's a lot of avenues kids can use out there on the internet, but they're not our savviest criminals. And the thing with kids, they tend to talk quite a bit. So if they're bullying somebody, they're typically not the only one.
I agree. I want to also compliment on the 19th night, which was excellent this year. I thought all the parties worked very well together. It was a fun night. I had a good time. And, that was excellent. By the way, do you have a number on I'll ask again on Dixel? Because I know I'm promoting that, and all other people are, so.
I still think we're floating around at 700.
700? Okay. Check it again, because I've been out passing a lot of sheets around. Anyway, a lot of people interested in it. So, also, I want to ask you, tell you rather, as I walk around, I've been walking around for 3 months in the neighborhoods, and I've gotten good compliments on the police department, that community-oriented way of thinking, with making the police more accessible, not so unapproachable, whatever. I want to compliment you on that. It was something I've been talking to you ever since, and you took the ball and ran with this, so I want to thank you on that, because when our people trust us and feel secure with us, they work better with us, so that's a good thing. So I'll turn this over to discussion with the council. Joe, I'll start with you.
I don't have any questions to add. I love the reports that come out. They're very detailed. Anybody can look at the packet as well if you're interested in what's going on in your city. I encourage people to do that. And I'd just like to thank you and the department for being community oriented. And I ended up talking to, let me get the name wrong, I feel terrible. I think it's Heron and Sergeant Larson. And I'd like to compliment them as well. So thank you.
Okay, Rich?
I think the only question I had, and you had mentioned, as part of some of the training your officers are taking, it's kind of new that, I'm going to use the wrong words, I know, but the training to deal with people that may have mental health issues or things like that, that's relatively new, right?
As of July 1st, it's mandated now to the
So I think someday in the future, and maybe not just part of the report, but I kind of like to maybe hear how that's helping your officers deal with things as time goes by.
We've had one officer, so the training itself isn't necessarily new. It's newer, but as of July 1st, it became mandated for police officers in Minnesota. We discontinued education to renew their license, so that aspect of it is new. But we did have an officer last year attend a week-long CIT training, they call it, crisis intervention training. So that one includes scenario type training, things like that, where they can learn how to talk to different people with maybe some different disorders, in order to communicate with them better, to try to find a better solution rather than, a one approach for all. So the training that the officers attended just last week, it's kind of along that same line, but it's a little, it's a combination of how to react to different people. It also includes cultural diversity, including race, things like that. Maybe things that police officers do that they're not aware that they're doing, that maybe they could make a scene go a little better. So it's really all about communication, recognizing different things, and just different ways of interacting with people with some types of different stages of mental illness, and trying to mediate the scenes better and find some better outcomes rather than resorting to, ultimately use of force or things like that. So we're trying to minimize that type of thing. We're never going to get rid of it entirely, unfortunately, but we're trying to minimize it where we can and just use that communication line as much as we can. So that's pretty much what the training is geared towards, is just trying to find better ways to mediate these scenes and make them go a little smoother.
Okay, good. Well, it's giving you some tools in your toolbox to deal with those types of things. I guess I'm a pretty religious watcher of Light PD now every Friday and every Saturday. I mean, you get some insight into what your folks have to deal with on a daily basis, and you're not necessarily dealing with, I'll say, normal people all day long. I can imagine it can get kind of stressful, to say the least, and how to deal with the kind of situations you have to. So anyway, I commend your department for everything you're doing. I really like the community-based efforts, and keep it up. That's all I can say.
Rich? Brad, sorry.
I just want to say the reports are really good. The graphs are really easy to read. Numbers kind of trickle up and down in different areas. So close your garages if you don't want burglars to go in there. Don't make it easy for them. And you're past motorcycle season, but, you know, see motorcycles, I ride one myself. It's not that hard to see them, their lights are on all the time now. Be patient, they're not out, not all of them are driving 100 miles an hour, so just get out and see motorcycles, but that season's kind of past. And other than that, the report is really good. Thank you.
Well, I had one question here on page, I just was pointing this out, kind of clarify if you can, on page 46 of the packet. Burglaries in the second quarter were at 6, and the third quarter only 8. Yet the graph, if I'm reading it right, the gray part kind of got extended a little farther than I thought. I mean, you look at that graph, is the gray area a lot larger for just 2 more burglaries from one quarter to the next? Am I right on that, or am I wrong? Like, the gray area is burglaries, but it only went from 6 to 8, but the graph goes from, this pie got sliced thinner, unless I'm wrong here, unless I'm reading it wrong, so I just want to clarify that for me.
I have an uncolored copy.
So you don't see it.
I'm trying to figure out which one's great, because they're all great. I'll have to look into that and find an answer for you.
Well, on that, by the way, you know, I just want everybody to know, as the city grows, and we are in a growing process right now, so as the city grows, there's going to be more coverage for the police. There's going to be some things you're going to see, the DWIs may change, the burglaries may change, whatever, but our police force is on top of it. And once again, I agree with Rich, as I stated before. One thing our chief has brought to this police department is a community way of thinking. And again, the police are approachable. If you have a problem, like with council or anything like that, you have to bring the issue or concern to them as well as to us if you want something corrected. I mean, there's no way they can read your mind. So I think you've done a great job doing that. Kudos to you then. Just get a little crazy with the color gray or something. That's okay. I just want to make sure I was reading it right. But anyway, like I say again, as time goes on and our population grows, that's going to create some problems. So it's just a matter of you keep everybody on top of what you are, and that's a good thing. It does still shock me that people drive without seatbelts still after all these years of that law and being safe. That just boggles my mind. Boggles my mind that people still don't signal to turn. And to me, the DWIs and DUIs, just every weekend, you know, off-week packets amaze me that people are that ridiculously, I don't know, unaware that police will tag you, is a polite way to say it. If you're drinking and you can't drive, stay home. That's a good thing. Or at least get a cab or some friend to pick you up in that. But don't drive a car when you're drinking too much. That just does an accident waiting to happen or a ticket waiting to happen. It doesn't help you, it's not something we want to do, but we have to for safety of our residents at large. So, very good report, I appreciate that. The reason I brought it to you, I just want to make sure I read these things correctly, so, okay? All right, well, thank you very much, Todd. Moving on to Public Works, Paul, you're next.
Mayor and council, in your packet tonight is our September reports for Public Works. September obviously is normally a time where things are transitioning from green to brown, and we're able to do a little bit more other tasks other than mowing. But we had a very green September, and we continue to mow and mow and mow, and we are still continuing to mow as we speak. So things are pretty green yet, which is all right. Hopefully we get some sunshine and we can enjoy the fall colors. In the streets that are in the water and sewer report, the removals are continuing to be, a really high percentage as far as our percent removals in our constituents that were taken out of the wastewater and water. So that continues to work well. We did have a couple pumps plug again due to rags at Ambassador Lift Station that month, but I think until people realize that the rags are really an issue and they put them in the trash can, we're going to continue to see those pumps plugged. With that, I'll answer any questions that you might have.
Okay, I'm going to turn this first one to Rob, because I know what things you like to talk about.
Yes. One thing I want to say is, we're getting towards the debris and last mowing. As residents, mow the first couple of rows from the street inward, because when you blow the grass out into the street, it goes into the storm drain. We have to pay our employees even more man hours to go dig that stuff out. Either bag it or blow the first couple of cuts in off of the street.
Or sweep up.
Or sweep the street yourself so that we as residents that are on the stormwater system, well and septic within the city, we can save money by doing our fair share. And we have 2 rags that were flushed, and on the bottom of the scale, if you want to look into the cities, all this stuff is posted on the city. It tells right on the bottom, and I appreciate this, Paul. It takes 2 man hours for every rag that plugs one of our pumps. And that's just unacceptable. We're all paying this bill to keep our new wastewater treatment facility up and running and prime. And it's not a trash can. Please don't flush the rags. Thank you.
Thank you. Like I say, you can't, I know, I sweep my, I roll and all that because I know exactly what you're talking about. So taking the time to sweep it up, it doesn't take that much longer, and then bag it, whatever you want to do after that, but get it off the streets, it does help out a lot. Rich, you have any comment?
No, I don't think I've got anything else to add, and I never know which direction this switch on this microphone.
All the way to Lively. Testing.
No, and Rob's absolutely right about the rags. It's not necessarily just the plant, it's, if that system don't work and it backs up in your basement, you're cleaning it up. We're not cleaning it up. That's gonna be your insurance company, your effort to deal with. So that's probably a more tangible thing for a resident than, 2 hours of per month. I mean, yeah, you're paying for it, but if somebody else in your neighborhood causes that backup, everybody's gonna be mad at that rag. Of course, we're not gonna know who sent the rag down, but anyway. So no, Rob's absolutely right. Quit putting rags down the toilet. No, I guess I don't have any other questions. I was gonna ask if we're already in winter, but I know you guys have complained that I just jinxed it. We're gonna get 4 inches of snow next week, so I'm not gonna ask. I'll wait till next time. No other questions. Nice report, like always.
Thank you. Joe?
I don't have any questions, but I will tell you that I was listening to KFAN one morning, and of course the morning show, and they were talking about the flushable wipes and flushing them and how great they would be. So I tried to do my part in email in, but I never heard him correct it. But I tried. That's all.
Well, I want to point out, it says water miscellaneous, it says work orders and rereads. I talked to Paul about this earlier today. The quantity is 18. He says that's low because it's usually what, a 30 to 40 range, you said to me, Paul, with rereads? So I want to point out to the public, if you have a question on your meter and you look at your bill and you see a spike in it, and you haven't been watering anything any unusually than you have before, give a call to City Hall, not to City Hall, but Public Works. Jen will set up a work order, have our guys come out and look at it. We'll look at the meter to make sure that that's not been fault. We'll look at some other things, give you some hints. Most of the time, we do find out that flappers are a real cause of leaks in your water bill. Flappers from the toilet, which is a $6 part. I've also put water tips on the website in the Public Works section of it, so you can find those water tips. You have spigots with washers in them. You have faucets at home with washers. So things can leak. I believe here Darcy put something into a drop a minute over 30 days is like 350 gallons, something like that. I remember you putting that on one of the bills. If you give me a second, I can actually find this on my phone. But I want to read this to you because this is I don't think people are aware of this, that this can add up over time and it does get costly. So I'm going to read this just like it is. This was on a bill here that I got. So we all get it. It says here, did you know that a leaky faucet, 100 drops per minute, can waste at least 350 gallons in a month? So you don't think about that little drop, but you add that up over time, it's a big deal. So that's just one little thing to think about. But like I say again, most of all, if you see a spike, if you've been using like 12,000 gallons of water on a steady month-to-month ratio, and all of a sudden it shoots up to 25,000 gallons or whatever, You know what I mean? You can call us and we will come out and look at it and tell you, give you a fair assessment of your house, along with, check our meter and make sure that that's right. We've had some situations this summertime, by the way. We had one gentleman who had a 31,000 gallon usage spike for residential. They found out it was a misread on the meter. We had someone else from the golf course that came out. Owner of the golf course had an 18,000 gallon spike on his bill. Find out it was a busted toilet in one of his facilities. So we're there to help you. We all know the bills are high. We've got a 20% reduction effective September. It's in the right direction. We are working on some more things to get that down over time. We have other ideas, and as those become fruitful and signed, sealed, delivered, of course, we'll bring it to your attention. But we're at a good stage here right now with promoting with the town, our city growing for the first time. It's the first time we broke ground since 2006, 12 years. So we're going in the right direction. We have a lot of plans coming forth on Bridge Street with development. You'll see some signs coming up on that, by the way. In fact, just to let you know here, you'll see a sign that we've had put together. In fact, when this demolition starts on the building coming up, the church going down here in this month, you will see a sign here that will read, I'll just point this out to you. It's a sign that says, "Clearing the way for future retail development of Bridge Street based on resident feedback from the St. Francis Forward Plan." So that feedback that you, the residents, gave us helped us design that plan, and we will start promoting this springtime for some townhomes, for retail shops, and restaurants and things like that we're doing. Read the packets that I put out there. I'm going a little farther than I should, but read the newsletters. That's important because you can find a lot of information. I think some people think I just have a form letter that is punching little numbers. I don't. I actually write those from scratch from beginning to end. It takes me days, by the way. So I put a lot of thought behind those newsletters. So please, just give me a little bit of the edge and read those things, will you, please? Not just throw them away, please. Moving on. Any other questions, Councilor? Paul, once again, thank you, Todd. Thank you for good reports. It's nice to be able to read them, and they're concise and simple to read for us, and that helps a lot. So thank you. Moving on to council member reports. I'm going to start with Rob.
I don't have much. I just want to, I want to say October 24th is Anti-Bullying Day. I know when I was growing up, bullying was a big deal. It still is in our schools. It really needs to take hold on our children and into the future to deal with, comes from parenting. Stop bullying. All kids are amazing, but bullying is still a problem. I just want to thank the police department for putting on all those events throughout the year. They were amazing, and the fire department for hosting the pancake or the French toast breakfast. Apologies. It was great. I went out, support the community, and I just want to thank the residents for coming out.
Thank you. Rich?
I don't have an awful lot. Just a reminder, I'm going to miss the Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on Wednesday. I'm going to be out of town, so I don't know if somebody else wants to be a liaison. There's a little bit of an agenda, not a huge one, but there's some business to be done. And then don't forget Election Day is coming up. And if you can't vote in person, I believe you can vote absentee every day of the week at City Hall, right? And we're open from, what, 7 till? 7 to 5:30. You need to vote absentee. Clock's ticking on that as well. A couple weeks away. That's all I've got.
Thank you, Rich. Joe?
Well, I had the privilege to go to the French Toast Breakfast as well. Great community event. Thank you for putting that on. It was just good to see the community out there get involved. Also, I'm looking for a more permanent solution still. I think I have a viable option as far as the mics are concerned. There's a couple different options out there. We can probably do it, I think, for under $3,000 even. So we'll get everything together and bring it to a work session. Other than that, I don't think I have much, although if the Boy Scouts are wondering how I keep my rugged good looks with all the stress of being on council, it's from eating vegetables and fruits.
I don't know what was the biggest lie.
We don't lie. All right, well, for me, by the way, I want to say, I went to the French toast breakfast, and the food was great, but I haven't had French toast in a long, long time, so that was a lot of fun, and talking with people, seeing the public out there was excellent. And I will tell you that bullying for me, as I mentioned before, and I agree with Rob 100%, bullying is a problem, and in my day, because I'm a lot older than most people here, by the way, which I don't know if I want to brag about, but anyway, my day, it was up close and personal. You saw it face to face, and the day you don't. And it's become so impersonal. So I can't emphasize enough between parenting and when a problem is brought to your attention about this. The best way to do this is nip in the bud as soon as possible, but not let it gain traction, I would call it like that, and let it go on, because it can do that. And we've heard stories over the years that it goes a little too far, and bad things happen from it. I hope that won't happen. I like to say, that's why I say to you, the best way to do it is parenting, and catch a nip in the bud when your child brings that to your attention. Don't take it for granted or lightly. Call us, call a school, call whatever you can do, but we will help to make an effort to solve that problem, which I think is a good thing. And again, I commend Tom for the police department for getting into that, because it's an issue that will not go away with the social network like it is. Also, I want to say to you that Nixle is a program I've been passing around flyers. You saw that 19 night and all that. It's a simple program to sign up. It allows us to give you alerts on school closings, storm alerts, road closings from accidents, from fire, whatever it may be. It's a simple little thing to dial 888-777 and then text in the word Francis, non-case sensitive, and then they'll ask you for your zip code 55070, and then you're on. You can make it fit to what your needs are, what kind of notices you want, or you can just go for the general notices. But it's a good program. You can cancel anytime, and above all, it's free from the city. One of our ways to reach out to you. So if you want more information on it, there's the newsletter shows it, the website shows it. You can call City Hall about it. As I walk around, I know I'm handing out sheets of this too, by the way. But it is really a good program. Our only mistake that we made last year with everything else we had on our plate, we didn't have time to promote it properly. This year we are doing it, and we've shown from 20 last year to over 700 this year. I know if you check it now, you're going to see some more. And we actually have people sign up live there. I think nothing. I don't think anything on no stone unturned, anyways. But like I say, once again, simply 888-777. Punch in the word Francis to that text number, non-case sensitive, and then they will ask you for your zip code, and you're on. So hopefully you'll do that. I think it's a good thing. Again, it was one of our ways to reach out to you. The website is new, by the way. If you have any questions, once again, call City Hall. The main thing I'm trying to do here, and this council is trying to do here, is build trust with the public. I know that's been lacking in years before. I think it's a good thing to have here. I think trust is a thing that's a very crucial thing for you to trust us to work better with us. One of the things I also want to tell the Cub Scouts is, one of the main things I did besides the 2 years I spent in the audience and read those 50 years worth of packets, I also read the Mayor's Handbook. And in the Mayor's Handbook, and I know staff has heard me say this before, so has council, but it's residents working with staff, working with council for a better city. And that's really how it works. We have to work together. We're a small community, but we have some really wonderful things here in this community, and we want to keep that as we grow. We don't want to lose our identity as far as rural, but we have a good community. It can be better by us working together. And I want to tell you, I also agree with Rich that Election Day is coming up. You may be frustrated at other levels, the state, federal level, but the one thing that really affects your life one-on-one directly is the city level. So I'm not going to tell you how to vote, of course, but the main thing I want to tell you is you may be a little disenchanted with those other two entities, but the one area that you can really make a direct effect in is voting for the city seats. That's a big thing. That's how this change has come about 2 years ago, and hopefully will continue from you. I told people who congratulated me 2 years ago on becoming mayor when I became mayor-elect, I said, don't congratulate me, congratulate yourself on making a 15-minute trip to the poll and making the difference. That's it. That's how it happens. You have to make that trip to the poll and make the change. It comes from you, and that's where it should start. All power should be in the people's hands at all levels, especially here at the city level. So on that, I'm going to ask the council and staff if there's any more business to discuss, none that I can think of. I've always said that meetings will last as long as it takes to do the city's business, whether it be a half hour, 4 hours, whatever it takes. In this particular case, we've got a nice short term here today. We've got some good things with the Cub Scouts. I really appreciate you coming out. And anytime you want to come out and talk to us again or see how we work, you're more than welcome to, of course. So on that, I'll get the time correct, 6:44. I will adjourn this meeting. Thank you.